Hey, it's Nathan with Crazy Marketing, and in this video, you're going to learn how to launch a Facebook campaign. We're going to cover all the different settings at the campaign level, the ad set level, and the ad level. I'll drop a bunch of different tips along the way as well. Now, as a side note, this video consists of 4 separate videos that are part of a course that I have. So you might hear me reference other videos and things like that that are related to the course. However, this does not impact the training that you're going to learn in this video right here. And you're really going to learn a lot. So let's get into it. In this section of the course, we're going to be talking about campaign structure. Now this is going to be kind of an overview of campaigns, ad sets, and ads. You're not actually going to have to do anything in here. I'm just going to point out some key elements so that way when we're working to set up campaigns, you've seen this stuff before. So this is just kind of sit back, watch, take it all in, and one of these next sections when we're actually building the campaigns, you'll see how to piece everything together. Alright, so this video we're going to cover campaigns and campaign settings. So I'm in Ads Manager, of course, and I want to go ahead and hit this green create button. And so there are 2 different ways to create campaigns, ad sets, and ads. There's the quick creation way, which it brought me into, but there's also guided creation. I'm going to show you the guided creation method right now because it's kind of prettier and lays things out nicer so you can see everything. But I also build a lot of times in quick creation. There are some subtle differences, there's some things you can do in quick creation that you can't do in guided creation and vice versa. So I'll try and point those out along the way. But for the most part, you can do everything you need to in either method. You just choose whichever one works best for you and go that route. Again, I'm going to do guided creation in this video and the following videos because, again, it's just kind of prettier looking. But if you want to switch back and forth, you just click this switch option and makes it easy. Switch back and forth, no big deal. Alright, so basically how Facebook breaks things down is into campaigns, and then inside of campaigns we have ad sets, and then of course inside of ad sets we have our ads. The campaign level, that's where we go ahead and choose our marketing objective, and these are all the objectives we can choose from, and we're going to go through them in just a second here. At the ad set level, that's when we go ahead and we choose our audience, so the people that we're targeting, the placement, so where we're going to put our ads. If you want to put them on Facebook or Instagram, in the news feed or on the sidebar or in a video or wherever. And then of course budget and schedule. And then ad, of course, are our ads. So those are your ads, your copy, your content, etc. So that's kind of how everything breaks down: campaigns, ad sets, ads. Hopefully that makes sense. Pretty easy to understand. Just a little 3-tier program. All right, so here we are in campaign, and that's what we're focused on in this video. So the first question it asks is if this is a special ad category, and basically ads related to credit, employment, or housing. So obviously if you're in one of those categories, go ahead and tick this box. And basically there's just going to be some limited targeting options if you choose, if you're in one of these special categories. So moving down to marketing objectives, we have 3 different categories. We have awareness, consideration, and conversion. So of course, it goes from broad, cold traffic to warm to hot, basically. That's kind of how you think of that flow of traffic, right? And of course, Facebook tries to help you along the way. So if you need help choosing an objective, you can click over here and it kind of breaks down the 3 categories, what they mean. And then it goes into your goal. So brand awareness is to increase people's awareness of your business, brand, or service. Reach, show your ad to as many people as possible in your target audience, and so on. So you can read this, of course, on your own time. I don't want to sit here and read all this stuff to you because you can probably read. So now I'll kind of break down the objectives using my own language here. So we'll start over with awareness. Now, brand awareness is used oftentimes for cold traffic, so going out there for a lookalike audience or maybe a saved audience and trying to convert that cold audience into warmer audience, right? So that's kind of where brand awareness may be used. Reach, on the other hand, I typically would use this for a custom audience. So this would be for retargeting, and I want to reach everybody in one of my custom audiences. So that's kind of the difference between these 2, brand awareness, cold audience, reach, custom audience. And also note, these other objectives will also reach people and drive brand awareness as well. So this awareness category, I don't use it too often. I'd rather go for more actionable objectives like traffic and conversions than just awareness. But sometimes if I just need to grow a custom audience, I'll select brand awareness. And if I need to reach a custom audience, I'll select reach. So moving on down, we're getting into consideration now. So these are people that are typically a little warmer, or you want them to go from cold to warm right away. So this is traffic, so sending people to your website, right? Engagement means they engage with your ad or your page. App install, of course, means they install your application. Video views, of course, are putting your ads in front of people to try and get them to watch your video. Now, I'm a little hesitant on video views because, they might just slap your video in front of anybody and everybody to try and get those views up. So they might not be the most targeted views in the whole wide world. Now, of course, you could go back in then and create a custom audience of people that watch 50% of a video, and then you'll have, a good custom audience. So just something to be aware of when targeting video views is it might not be the highest quality, but if you create a custom audience of people that have watched, a big chunk of your video, then you're probably okay. Moving on down, we have lead generation. So these are quote unquote lead ads, and they are ads that pop up like an opt-in form within Facebook itself, and it can be a great way to drive leads. But I've also noticed that the lead quality is not very good. I think because the barrier to entry is so easy, like somebody's on Facebook already, they click a button, pops up a form, it already has their name and email address in it, and they just hit submit. And, maybe they're not even thinking about going and checking their email address or anything like that. And eventually, 5 hours later, they check their email, they have their email from you, and they're like, who's this guy? And they delete it and all that stuff. So I typically prefer to send people to a squeeze page to get their contact information, but I will have another video training on lead generation if that's something you want to go ahead and test out. Messages, of course, are Facebook Messenger and, Messenger bots and things like that you could go ahead and integrate with. So you could do some pretty nifty stuff with messages these days. And now we're into the category that I use a lot, which is conversion, of course, because we're like direct response marketers. We need to make money, right? So we need those conversions. And of course, the first category here is conversions. And this could be any type of conversion. It could be something like a view content conversion. And if you may recall, view content is on all of my sales pages on my website. So I could optimize for people going to sales pages, or I could optimize for add to carts or purchases or leads or any sort of custom conversion I might come up with. So I would say like 80 to 90% of the campaigns that I am running are conversion campaigns because I need people that take action. And I also want Facebook's algorithm to optimize for people that are taking specific action. So conversions are pretty much where it's at. And then we have catalog sales, which are great for folks that have e-commerce stores like Shopify and WooCommerce. Like you can plug your entire store's product catalog into Facebook, and Facebook will make ads automatically. They look pretty. They automatically like retarget people based off of what they looked at on your store already, and put custom ads in front of them. So really awesome stuff. If you have an e-commerce store, you'll probably use this objective more than just straight up conversions. So awesome stuff here. And then store traffic. This is for those of you with physical locations. And I've talked about this before, the offline conversions under the custom audience. So if you're a POS, your point of sale system integrates with Facebook, you could go ahead and push customer information and kind of optimize for store traffic if you want to as well. Also, you could upload a list of customers as well for those offline conversions. So anyway, for me, I'd say, again, 80 to 90% of my objective are conversion objectives. I might have some traffic objectives, maybe 10% I use traffic. I might use engagement if I'm launching a new ad and I want to get some social proof on it. Now, of course, you're going to get social proof no matter what, but engagement does get you a little more social proof. So if you got a new ad and you want to get some likes and hearts and all that other stuff on there to generate that social proof, engagement could be a good option. And then I use reach sometimes as well, just for those retargeting audiences. But again, the bulk of my objectives are conversions. So I'm going to go ahead and set conversions just to move this ball forward. And when we select our campaign objective, we have some new options. Of course, we can go ahead and name our campaign. So I'll typically name it something descriptive that pertains to my particular campaign. And when we set up a campaign, we'll go through kind of naming better than I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to say demo conversions. And then we do have the option for create A/B test, and I'm going to have another section on testing altogether. But typically I'll leave this off, of course, unless I am running a test, in which case I may or may not use it. Typically I'll manually test things instead of using Facebook's test, but if you want to use it, I'll show you how to use it. And then there's campaign budget optimization, which is pretty cool, but it could also mess you up. So I'm going to read their definition first, and then I'll kind of explain it to you. So campaign budget optimization will distribute your budget across ad sets to get more results depending on your delivery optimization choices and bid strategy. you can control spending on each ad set. So by default, you'll notice that you set your budget and schedule at the ad set level. So again, this is based off of your audience and placements and objectives that you're targeting, right? So that's usually where you'll set your budget. But if you switch to campaign budget optimization, you turn that on, you set your budget at the campaign level. So for example, you set it, $100 a day, for example, and basically what it's going to do is it's going to disperse your $100 a day across however many ad sets you have in here. And then Facebook's algorithm is going to automatically optimize your ad sets and ads. So it's going to look at all that stuff in your single campaign. And typically, I use campaign budget optimization on cold traffic when I'm trying to convert cold traffic into warm traffic. That's when I use campaign budget optimization. And when it comes to retargeting, I usually turn that off because I'd rather control my ad sets, as you'll see when we set up the campaign together. Now, I know that was kind of quick on campaign budget optimization, so if you have any questions, please let me know. I can make another video and try and break it down. Also, we're going to cover it when we set up a campaign together, so you will see it again, and hopefully you'll be able to better understand how it works because it is pretty cool, but you need to use it in the right scenarios. So anyway, once you're all satisfied with everything, you go ahead and hit continue. And now we're on to ad sets, which is a whole other video. In this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about ad sets. Now, as a reminder, this is just an overview video. You don't actually have to do anything. Just sit back, kind of pay attention, get familiar with ad sets. In the follow-on sections, when we set up a campaign together, then we'll get into the nitty-gritty details of why you're doing what things and stuff like that. So anyway, the first thing we got to go ahead and do is name our ad set. And of course, you want to be descriptive here. And again, in the ad set, that's where you're setting up your audience basically and your placements and possibly your offer. So you want to make sure that it's descriptive of, who you're targeting because that way you can keep things organized, right? Makes some sense. So anyway, right here, this next box is conversion. And the reason I'm saying this box is because my campaign objective I selected was conversions. But if I came back up here and I did like video views, for example, and then went to continue, we see that we have different options available to us. And right now we just have through play optimization selected. And so it gives us a little definition of what through play means. And I could click learn more and get even more information on through play and so on. So basically, depending on your campaign objective, you might see something different at the ad set level. So let's just go back. Conversions, again, I do like 80 to 90% of my campaigns are conversion objectives, so we'll stick with that. So then we have our destination, so website, 99% of the time, app, messenger, WhatsApp, so of course select what's pertinent to you. Optimization for ad delivery, of course, we probably want to go with conversions, right? That's what we've set up. But you could also do landing page views, or you could do other options like link clicks and daily unique reach and impressions. But anyway, you just select through here and select, obviously, what's important to you. Up next, we do our pixel. Of course, you want to select the correct pixel, because if you select the wrong pixel, then your tracking is not going to work. And hopefully you've already set up your pixel and you've set up your events and all that stuff, and you are good to go. If not, go back to the pixel section and go through that, because if you do not have your pixel and event set up properly, you will fail. Remember that? Okay. So anyway, you choose your event now. So we have lead, view content, add cart, and then we have our inactive events. So, you select the event you're optimizing for. I'll just say add to cart in this particular example. We could go ahead and control costs, which is optional. And I recommend not turning on some of these restrictions because you might not know how much things are going to cost, and it might cost more than you want it to right out of the gate. Like maybe you want it to only cost $5, but it costs $10. But that's just because Facebook hasn't optimized yet. So you might mess stuff up if you do this incorrectly. So I recommend leaving this optional field blank. We got advanced options, so conversion window. We have 7-day click or 1-day view. That's kind of the default. Recommend just leaving the default. And if you can always come in and change it later if you want to. All right, moving on, we have dynamic creative. I'll make another video on dynamic creative later on, but 99% of the time I leave it turned off unless maybe I'm doing a test or something. But anyway, we'll leave it off for now. Offer, I always leave this turned off as well. I've tested it a few times and it's never seemed to produce much of anything, so I don't know. But real quick, just so you can see what it is, an offer. Yeah, I'll just select a a page real quick. Crazy on marketing, create offer. So basically, like there'll be an ad, somebody will come across an ad, they'll click on the ad, it'll pop up this offer here. And these might work better for physical locations. So maybe if you have a store or something like that, this might be a better option for you. I've not tested them with stores. I prefer to just use an ad to a landing page over this, but you could go ahead and test it on out if you want to. And there are several options in here you could go ahead and play with. I just wanted to point it out to you so you know what it looks like. But again, I haven't had much success with offers here, but maybe I had bad offers, so who knows? It could be worth testing out. If you want another video on more details of offers, let me know. I will definitely do that for you. And then we get into audiences, and we've already discussed audiences in pretty great detail. So you can select a custom audience here, a lookalike audience here, a saved audience here, or you could also build an audience right here if you want to as well. So you can construct it right in the ad set area if you want to. So I'm not going to go into details here because we've already talked about audiences. Now there is one box I do want to talk to you about, which is this detailed targeting expansion. Reach people beyond your detailed targeting selections when it's likely to improve results. Now that sounds awesome, right? You want it to improve results. Who doesn't want that? But based off of a bunch of studies from like digitalmarketer.com and several other organizations and agencies, they have not had good results with this. I've tested it a little bit. I haven't really noticed better or worse results personally, but if companies like digitalmarketer.com that spends millions of dollars on ads says they've tested it and they have not seen improved results, might as well listen to them. They've spent more money than me. So I recommend unchecking this box. Up next, we have connections, so we could go ahead and add a connection or remove a connection. So people that like your page, friends of people who like your page, exclude people who like your page, and so on. So bunch of different options or advanced combinations you could go ahead and configure here, again, depending on who you want to target and why. So now if you do create an audience at the ad set level here, you could go ahead and save it and basically make a saved audience, and it'll pop up in your audience manager and you could use it from there and reference it again. So you can go ahead and save your audience. Coming on down to placements, this is where you obviously select where your ad could display. Now, automatic placements is selected by default and it's quote unquote recommended, and I recommend it as well. So assuming that your pixel is set up properly on your website and you're tracking events properly, the Facebook algorithm is very smart. So it's going to place ads all over the place, and just to show you all the places it places them, let me take this box real quick. So it places them on Facebook, Instagram, Audience Network, and Messenger, and then all these various locations like Newsfeed, Instagram feed, Stories, InStream, Search, Messages, Apps and Sites, Articles. So it puts your ads in all these different places, all the different devices, and basically it kind of watches what ads get clicked on, what ads generate results, and also it's smart enough to be like, okay, if I put an ad on the news feed and then I put an ad on Audience Network, then people kind of get familiar and they're more likely to click on the ad and convert. So Facebook's algorithm is watching all that type of stuff. It's watching how many times people are seeing your ads, which ads they're looking at, and then in which order they're producing the results. It's doing all that type of stuff. So I recommend you leaving automatic placements checked and let Facebook's algorithm do its optimization for you. It's smarter, it knows more, it just has more data than you could ever possibly manage by yourself. And then we get down to budget and schedule, and you might not see this if you have campaign budget optimization, CBO on. You won't see this option, but if you don't have it on, then you will see this option, right? You have two options here. You can set a daily budget and also a lifetime budget. I typically recommend using daily budget on your retargeting campaigns and ad sets, and then lifetime budget on your cold traffic audiences. And so basically the reason for that is on daily budget, it's going to spend whatever your budget is every day. So if you say, I want to spend $20 a day, it's going to spend $20 a day. And that's good for retargeting ads because you might have small audiences that are only available for, I don't know, a 3 or 5 day window. And you want them to be like bombarded with ads, for lack of a better term. So daily budget spends your daily budget. Whereas with lifetime budget, what it'll do is it'll spend whatever budget you set here over whatever time frame you set in this area right here. And basically what that allows Facebook to do is optimize for days and times. So maybe it realizes that, on Monday, people are more apt to buy whatever it is you're offering. So maybe it'll spend $100 on Monday, and it knows that on Friday, like, no one buys anything that you sell. So it might only spend $20 on Friday. So it basically can then optimize based off of different days of the week and hours and all that type of stuff. Like, it's going to adjust and increase and decrease your daily budget based off of the results that it can generate for you. And again, I typically recommend lifetime budget on those cold to warm campaigns. So that way you give Facebook the opportunity to optimize on a daily basis. And also while we're here, and I'll cover this again in another video, but while we're here, as a tip, like, in order to do this lifetime budget, you basically take your daily budget and you multiply it by the number of days. And typically, I'd either do like a 2-week period, so 14 days, or a 30-day period. So let's just say you want to spend, $50 a day for 30 days. So your budget would be $1,500, right? Because 50 times 30 is 1,500. So you go ahead, 17th to the 17th, that's 30 days, and boom, you're spending $50 a day on average, right? Again, it might spend $100 on one day, $20 on another day, and so on, but it's going to be able to optimize for those results. And then when you get closer and you want to add some more days, all you do, you got another 30 days, and then you just double your budget, right? So you're still spending $50 a day on average, and Facebook just scales your budget accordingly. So I just wanted to put that out there, that you can adjust your lifetime. You don't set it here and then that's it. You can extend it if you want to. All right, moving on down here, we have ad scheduling. So we have run ads all the time, and then we have run ads on a schedule. Now, I typically recommend ads at all time unless there's a reason to not run them all the time. For example, if maybe you're running ads that say call your business right now, and in that case you probably only want the ads to be running during normal business hours when you might answer your phone. So in that case, you'd go ahead and set up your windows here. And also note, this ad scheduling is only available on lifetime budget. On daily budget, you cannot do ad scheduling. So also that's something important to note. So if you do want to do ad scheduling, again, lifetime budget is the option you need to go ahead and select. Now I'm going to go ahead and do daily budget, for example, here, and then we have ad scheduling again turned off, and then we have delivery type, and we have standard, which is recommended. We select more options. We see accelerated, but we cannot do accelerated because this option is only available if you're using the bid cap bid strategy, which isn't available for all objectives. So I've never used it, never touched it before. I've always ever done standard, and it's been fine. So anyway, that's it for the ad set settings. Again, we're going to cover this again as we set up campaigns, but now hopefully you have an overview of what it looks like and different options and things like that. All right, in the last video, we talked about ad sets, and I quickly went over this audience section because I said we already know how to make audiences, so we can go quickly. But there's one key thing that I do want to point out to you, which is critically important when it comes to retargeting ads. And I just wanted to show it to you real quick, and then of course you'll see it again when we set up a campaign together. And so you'll see it a couple times, so hopefully it'll sink in and make sense to you. But right here we have custom audiences, and again, custom audiences are lists of people that have engaged with your business in any sort of way. So it could be they watched a video on Facebook, they could have visited your website, they could have been on your email list and you uploaded that list, they could have engaged with your Facebook page, etc., etc., etc. We've talked about it before. So of course you could go ahead and target these audiences, right? So let's see what we got in here. So we got F dash whatever. So anyway, let's say I have an audience of people that have watched 15 or more seconds of my sales funnel blueprint video in the last 11 days. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and throw that audience in there. So now if I created the rest of the campaign, I could go ahead and have an ad that shows to people that have watched the 15 seconds or more of my sales funnel blueprint in the last 11 days, right? Pretty cool stuff. Again, I could do, let's see, 11 days. So engage with page, or visited any page. So there we go. So I got basically 3 groups of people now that have engaged with my Facebook page, watched 15 or more seconds of my blueprint video, or visited any page on my website in the last 11 days. So that's a big group of people, right? And we would consider these audiences as warm traffic, right? They've engaged with me, they know who I am, etc. But now, one thing that's very powerful is we could go ahead and set up some exclusions. So we can do this exclude option, and then we could do like purchase. So purchase the book in the last 180 days. So now I'm targeting everybody that has engaged with me in the last 11 days, but I'm excluding anybody that has purchased the book in the last 180 days, because maybe this ad set is used to sell the book, and if they've already bought the book, I don't want to advertise it to them again. Right? Hopefully that's making some sense. Maybe I also want to exclude people that have purchased the vault as well. So basically I want to remove anybody that's bought something from me in the last 180 days, but that is warmed up to who I am in the last 11 days, right? So anyway, I just wanted to point this out real quick because it is important and very powerful, as you can probably tell right here. And if you don't quite grasp it yet, don't worry. When we set up a campaign together, you're going to see it some more and you'll be able to get the hang of it. All right, before we get into the Facebook Ads Manager portion of creating an ad, I want to walk you through basic Facebook ads strategy. Now, creating ads is highly subjective. What works in one market will not work in another market, and so on. So I'm not going to give you like a full-on copywriting course on how to create ads, because depending on your market, everything could be gold or complete poo-poo. So I'll just give you the overview and how to approach creating those ads and show you where you can get ideas and so on. And also it comes down to testing. So you're going to test lots of different ad variations and see what works for you and what doesn't work, and just listen to the data. And we'll talk about that when we talk about reports and optimizing your campaign. So no big deal there. But yeah, let's cover the foundations of setting up a Facebook ad. So basically each Facebook ad has a hook versus, or a hook and an offer, or hook versus offer. So the hook of your ad is the main benefit simplified. So the main benefit of where you're going to be taking somebody, but keep it simple. And then there's the offer, and that's what you're actually offering. And this could be something, as simple as an article. So you're trying to get somebody to click through and read your article. So that's the offer. It could be to watch a video. It could be to opt in for a lead magnet. It could be to opt in for a strategy session. It could be to buy a product or a service. Many different things could be considered your offer. Again, your offer is like the thing you're actually selling, the actual physical thing or the service that you're selling, whereas the hook is the main benefit of that thing you're selling, but simplified. Like within a few words, you could do it. So here's some examples to clarify. So the hook here is the 4-hour work week. Of course, the offer then is the book. Another hook is 1,000 songs in your pocket, and the offer here is an iPod. Another hook is big profits from small stocks, and the offer is a penny stock newsletter. Another hook is eat more, way less. See how it's that main benefit simplified? Eat more, way less. Okay, that everybody can understand that in half of a second. It takes half of a second to read those 4 words and makes sense. I can eat more, way less. But what am I actually offering? It's a training course. Okay. Hashtag MAGA, Make America Great Again. President Trump's slogan as he was running for office, whereas Hillary Clinton was using I'm with her. So I don't know what I'm with her actually means. I'm with Hillary Clinton. That's not a really good hook, in my opinion. Whereas Make America Great Again it's a good hook. Who doesn't want to make America great again? Everyone wants America great again, even if you don't like President Trump. So I'm not bringing politics into this. I don't do whatever, But the offer here, of course, is for presidency. So as you can see right here, you can use a hook and offer concept for selling and offering anything. Again, articles, videos, lead magnets, strategy sessions, products, services, etc. They all have a hook and an offer, and it's imperative that you hone in on what those actually are. All right, so moving forward, let's talk about how the ads actually look. So you do have your text copy, and you could create short versus long form text copy, and the text copy is this stuff up here. Again, you want to go ahead and cover the hook, and you want to lead into the offer, and you want to include a call to action or CTA. For example, learn more at crazyoutmarketing.com. And in regard to short versus long form copy, if you are legit good at copywriting, you can go for those long form ads. They can work very, very well. I've seen lots of case studies where long form ads have done like 10x what a short form ad has produced. The thing is, you do have to be legit good at copywriting to write those long form ads. If your copy is not good, your long form ads aren't going to be good. So unless you're like a professional copywriter, I tend to recommend sticking to the short form. You could try a long form if you're feeling creative or something like that, but yeah, short form typically works the best. Again, people's attention span is like 7 seconds this day and age. It's less than a goldfish. So if it takes longer than 7 seconds to read your ad, they're probably not going to click anything, unless of course you're an expert copywriter and suck people in, and so on. So yeah, short tends to work the best. Again, in this text copy, you want to uncover the hook and you want to lead into the offer and have a call to action, CTA. Now the headline of your ad right here, this typically reflects the offer. So again, this is the article or the product or the service or the lead magnet or whatever you're trying to get people to take you up on. You typically have that in the headline here. Now that doesn't mean you have to. You could have the hook here as well, but typically it's the offer. The image or the video itself typically reflects the hook. So this again is that main benefit simplified. So like, what is the reward of the offer? You'd want to address that here in the image/video. Now, of course, you could also feature the offer itself here. Product demonstration videos can work very well. Also, just like showing people behind the scenes can also work very well. So, and that'd probably be more considered like showing somebody the offer as opposed to the hook. So you can do hook or offer here. I mean, that's not set in stone. You're going to test lots of different things, try different things, and so on. I'm just showing you some like baseline things to kind of keep in mind. The description down here, I didn't leave a bullet for some reason, but you either want to hit on the hook again. So really, since you're talking about the offer here in the headline, you talk about the hook down here, and probably vice versa. If you decide to talk about the hook in the headline, you talk about the offer in the description, and you just talk about it, or you can give details about the offer. Here are 2 resources if you are struggling for some inspiration on ad creative. You could go to adespresso.com/ads-examples or swipe.co. This website, Adespresso, they have, I think, 100,000 ads you can go ahead and look through, and you can search and all that type of stuff. So if you're hurting for finding good creative or inspiration, go over there, search for products or services in your category, and see if they're getting good engagements. So are they getting good likes, shares, etc., stuff like that, so you know if it's a good producing ad or not. And then swipe.co, they give you like a background history information or history lesson about particular ads and campaigns, and they really break down like why this copy worked or why this copy didn't work. So it's a good resource as well. So this is it for ad copy creative. I'm not gonna, again, this isn't a course on like copywriting for ads or anything like that. I just wanted to give you a baseline for setting up your ads. Now let's head over to the Facebook Ads Manager and check that out. All right, so here we are in the Ads Builder, and it's a pretty simple, self-explanatory process, but there are quite a few options too to choose from, so we'll kind of walk through it together and give you an inside view of how it all works. So first things first, we got to go ahead and name our ad, and of course you probably want to do like the type of ad, so image versus video versus carousel versus collection, so you know the type of ad, and then probably the content of the ad. So it might be like football for some example, and then you might have copy version 1 or something like that. So that way you can just keep your ads organized, right? Simple enough. Identity, so this is the account that's going to be running the ad. So of course select the appropriate Facebook page, and then also you can select the appropriate Instagram account. Now this is assuming that you've gone through the business manager and connected your Instagram account. If you haven't done that already, I have a video on it. It's like, I think in the first section on business manager, we walked through it together. So you can go back up there and see how to connect your Instagram account. Alternatively, you can just use the selected page, and it'll run your ads on Instagram, but from your Facebook page. Now, what the downside to it is you're not going to be able to reply to comments on your ad. So if anybody leaves a comment on your Instagram ad, you're not going to be able to reply to it. Also, you're not going to grow your Instagram account obviously. So you won't get any new followers or anything like that because you're using your Facebook page instead of an actual Instagram account. So if you want to be able to reply to people and you also want to grow your Instagram account, I recommend connecting your Instagram account to your Facebook ads account so that way you can run ads properly through Instagram. All right, moving on down here, we got a couple options. We have create ad, use existing post, and use mockup. I'm going to come back to use existing post in another video. It's an important concept, so I want to make sure that you understand it. And then use mockups. And mockups are used for like ad agencies to share ads with you, essentially. So basically, somebody can create an ad through like the Creative Hub and share it, and you can kind of import it. I have not done this myself, but I know it exists, and if you want me to go explore it and figure out how to use it and explain it to you, I definitely will do that. But again, I've never used it. I just create my own ads. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and create ad, and moving on, we have a couple different formats to choose from. We have carousel, and you've likely seen carousel ads before, but it's a couple images, or I think you can actually use videos as well, and people can kind of scroll through them, and it makes like a slideshow basically. Then we have single image or video, and this is like 99% of ads out there is an image or a video ad. And then we have collection, which is a group of items that open into a full screen mobile experience. So of course, if you're doing mobile and this makes sense to do, you could go ahead and create a collection as well. Again, 90%, if not more, ads are single image or video, and basically 100% of my ads are this. So this is what I use, but of course, feel free to experiment and see what works best for what you're trying to do. All right, moving on down here, we have instant experience, which is also known as canvas ads. And it allows you to create a full screen mobile optimized landing page or interactive AR experience that opens instantly when people interact with your ad. I'm going to have another video on instant experience, so we will cover it later on, but this is where you go ahead and set it up. Moving on, we get into media now. So this is simple and self-explanatory. First things first, we go ahead and add media. So we can add an image or a video. We'll just do an image for the sake of example. We could go ahead and select an image we've already uploaded to our account, or we could go ahead and upload a new image if we want to. We could search for it, etc. And then we could go to page images, Instagram images, and stock photos. So if you don't have any images at all, you can come to stock photos and search for something like, for example, football. If I want a football, I come in here, search for football, and I'm like, oh yeah, this ad or this image is exactly what I need for my ad. And I hit continue, and boom, I have an image just like that. Facebook supplies me with that image. All right, now I could go ahead and add more images, and as you add more images, it creates more ads. So if you want to create multiple ads with different images but the same copy, this could be a great way to do it. Alternatively, you can easily create more ads later on or duplicate and swap out images, so you don't have to do it all right here in one go. I typically just create one ad first, and then I duplicate and swap out the image or the video later on. And of course, you could also clear images, so if you want to clear the images, you could do that. All right, now we see something that says 12 placements are using this image, and we see all the placements that are using this particular image, right? So we got Facebook newsfeed, Facebook instant articles, Facebook in-stream videos, etc. So that's where this image is showing, but we can go ahead and customize this image based off of different placements if we want to. So this is pretty cool stuff. So this way, what I'm about to show you, you can make sure that your image looks great on any placement, right? So to do it, we come down here to customize placement and hit the little drop down option, and it gives us some placement groups we could go ahead and optimize or customize for each placement. So we got feeds, stories, apps, and sites, and right column search results, instant articles. And we see we got like 5 placements, 4 placements, and 3 placements that are like modified when we edit that group. Alternatively, we could come down here to single placements and optimize our image for individual placements if we want to. So pretty cool stuff. I typically would just do groups because, you spend a lot of time doing this if you really got into the nitty-gritty details, but groups is pretty good because like feeds, you got square. So ideally in a feed, you want a square image. In a story, app, and site, you typically want a full screen vertical image. And then right column search results, instant articles, you typically want a 1.91 by 1 image, right? So let's go ahead and click into it, and you'll see what it means to kind of customize your placement. So feed, square. So I come in here and wait for it to load, and it gives me a preview right here of my ad, and you can see that it's like kind of horizontal instead of square, right? So if I come up here to crop, and I could go ahead and crop my image if I want to. So instead of using the original, I go ahead and use square. Now this image you might not want to crop because it looks kind of funny if I cut off half the football or put it like this, but if it makes sense to do it, of course, do it. And so, yeah, so let's just say I want to be like, okay, so on my square images, I want it to look like this right here, so I can change it just like that. I could also go ahead and add some primary text and headline information if I want to. So headline, this is primary text, primary text and headline, and remember the whole hook and offer portion, right? Headline. So you would do the appropriate hook and offer and all that stuff here. But I was just trying to show you where it was on the ad, if it would load. So here we go. We got primary text above the ad and then headline. And then we got to go ahead and associate a link. So go ahead and throw a link in there, and we can see what our ad will look like on like mobile newsfeed here, or we can switch it to desktop newsfeed and see what it would look like on desktop. So we see now that we have a big square image and it's cropped and cool. So now it looks optimized, for that particular placement. And then of course we could optimize it for other placements as well. Alternatively, it's just going to use this default placement or this default settings right here. And we could go ahead and edit it as well. So if you want to edit the default, you could go ahead and crop it to fit a different size if you want to. But yeah, so pretty cool stuff, right? Let's do stories real quick, just for the sake of example. Come in here, we go ahead and crop, and it recommends this vertical. And let's say we want it looking like this over here, and we could go ahead and add some text and football. Okay, cool. So there's a preview of our ad in Facebook stories. Now you notice that it did not crop it vertically. And the reason for this is because the dimensions just aren't large enough. Like the image would get stretched or pixelated too much that Facebook's not comfortable doing it. So you would need to make sure that your image is large enough and it makes sense, right? It looks good still, because you don't want to just blow a picture up and it look bad. When Facebook doesn't want a bunch of crap across their platform. So basically this image is just too small to do the vertical cropping with it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cancel it because we can't customize it, and we'll just go with the default image size, right? So anyway, that's pretty cool stuff. I think that's pretty cool because you want your stuff to look good on all devices. Also, sorry, real quick, you could come in here and straight up change out the image as well. So let's say that yes, this rectangle image isn't the right size, isn't the right pixels, but you come in here and you have an image that is the right size and dimensions. You could go ahead and use an entirely different image for that placement if you want to. So also something that's cool. You could go ahead and do is use a completely separate image instead of cropping it. So sorry, should have pointed that out earlier, that you can change the image instead of crop it, right? Hopefully you got it now. Okay, cool. All right, moving on down here. Here's where we go ahead and set up our copy and everything. So I already have primary text written here, but we could go ahead and change it. Change primary text. And you'll notice that it left it as primary text instead of change primary text. And that's because we set the primary text for this image placement in this section right here. So that's something to be mindful of. If you're doing copy, note that you might be, kind of doing a split test with different copy on different placements. So just be cautious, okay, if you're adding different copy to different placements, okay? Alternatively, if you wanted to come in here and delete out your primary text and your headline, then it'll just use the default information, okay? So now we see that it says change primary text. So just be mindful, if you set the copy up here, it's going to be unique to that placement, and you might not want that. Since hopefully you're tracking what I'm saying. So anyway, you come down here, you write your copy, you write your headline, you write your description, and it does give you the option to add other options here. I don't recommend doing it because you don't have any control really of it. We're going to set up tests another way. So I typically don't recommend messing with this, but I'll talk about it in the testing section of this course. I typically recommend just one primary text, one headline, one description, and so on. Go ahead and set your link, of course, for your ad. And then moving on down, we could go ahead and change our display link, but it has to be a link. So I typically recommend not touching it, because if you mess it up, your ads aren't going to get approved. So I would just leave it the default. Your call to action button, you can change that so it says learn more now, but you could change it to what makes sense, like download or sign up or subscribe. Typically learn more is a good one to go with, because people will want to learn more, and it's pretty a soft ask, right? You just want to learn more. It's not like download now or buy now or purchase. It's not as aggressive. So it's just like learn more. I'll click and I'll learn more, right? So learn more is probably the best option to choose for call to action. Branded content, so if you are featuring a third-party brand or product, then you got to go ahead and tag them. Coming on down here, so languages, so if you want to translate your ad, you can. Then we get down to tracking, so of course tracking, critically important. Make sure that you have Facebook pixel turned on and you have the right pixel selected. If you have the wrong pixel selected, come back up here to your ad set settings. This is where you go ahead and you set up your pixel, right? This is where you chose your pixel in this area here. So if you see the wrong pixel on your ad, go back to the ad set settings, because that's where you change it. And then finally down here, we have URL parameters, and I have something that I recommend throwing in there. I'll put it in the course notes, but it's right here. And basically what it does is it adds UTM parameters, which are Google tracking tags. And so if you have Google Analytics or a lot of other tracking tools also use UTM parameters, basically it'll give it all this information so you can track things later on. Now you might not understand what it means right now, but if you just copy and paste what I give you, put it in there, it'll set you up on the right path. And I'll have another training on how to actually use the stuff that this thing generates. But this is a good default setup right here, and I'll have it in the course notes. And I will definitely explain it later on. And then finally we get on down here and we could go ahead and confirm. And when we confirm, we basically go live with our ad. So I know that was a lot of information real fast. Hopefully you got it. And if you're a little foggy on it still, don't worry, because when we set up a campaign together, we're going to create some ads together as well. So you will see this again, and we'll run through it some more together. And also be on the lookout for some other little videos like on instant experience and the URL parameters if you want more information on those things.